They say when you meet the love of your life, time stops.
Love is passion. Love is passion. Love is passion. Obsession. Obsession. Someone you can't live without.
I've loved you. Since the first moment.
My last.
So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you guys don't know me, my name is Michaela. If you're new here, thanks for joining me today. If you're not new, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you guys are being responsible and you are doing your part to curb the number of cases that we currently have. So by the title of the video, you guys already know what this video is going to be about. Now this video is going to be a little bit TMI, but I'm just going to tell you exactly what happened during my labor and delivery. I want to be as honest as possible, and I don't mean to scare anybody because y'all, it was a task, but you know, remember, as I said before, we as women were made to do this, so you can do it too, okay? So before I went into the hospital to actually deliver my babies, I was in the hospital a few days prior to that, right? I actually thought I was in labor then, but it was just Braxtonics. And when I was there, they kept me for like 3 days, and then they sent me back home, and I was 1 centimeter dilated. So they told me to come back if I was having any issues, if my baby wasn't if I wasn't feeling my baby's moving at any point, if my water bag burst, if I was getting contractions consistently, to come back. So like 2 days passed, and I mean I was getting pain, but it wasn't to the point like where it was unbearable, to the point like I can't take it. I mean y'all, I keep in my last trimester I kept saying I think I labor. Y'all, when labor hits you, you gonna know for sure that is labor. It's not how you think. You will know that is labor because the pain is really be bad. But for me, it was really like terrible. You know, I cried from the beginning of my labor straight until I get my spinal block. But as we get into the video, we'll get into that. So I actually went into the hospital on the 24th of October, and it was late in the night. I remember it was being late in the night, and I told Nathan and I told my mom that I think I was in labor. So they was like, okay, let's get ready, let's go to the hospital, this is about to go down. So we left home and we went to the hospital. And y'all, I don't like the hospital at all. It's probably because I've been there so much. Like every time I had to go, I used to start crying. I was just emotional during this pregnancy. These children had me cry for every little thing, so I would cry every time I had to go to the hospital. So I was like, okay, I really had to go. I asked them if I really had to go, like if anybody in my house know how to deliver any children, like yes, they need to go. So we went to the hospital and we sat down outside for like 2 hours because I didn't want to come out of the car. So they were like, okay, let me go for food, we'll carry for a smoothie, and you know, you will relax a little bit and then we'll come back and you will go inside or whatever the case is. I was like, okay, no problem. So we went to the food, and like on the way back the drive, like I started back to feel the pain that I was feeling. So I was like, okay, I really need to go, but I don't want to go. So when we reached there, we sat there for like a good 2 hours and I still never come out of the car. So I was like, let me go home now. We will come back if there's anything. If it's like unbearable, I would tell her and we will come back. So we went back home, and then 2 hours after we had to go back to the hospital because I was about to sleep. And y'all, I could not even lie down. Like the pain was so bad, I just started to cry because I was like, what the heck, I wasn't prepared for this at all. So you know, I tried the little breathing thing, because you know when you go to math class they say take deep breaths, you know, it does help with the pain. Y'all, they are lying. That doesn't help. I don't know if it does help for some people, but for me it never helped me. That breathing never, not even a little bit, not in between or to the end and the beginning. It never helped at all. It never made sense. That breathing thing never makes sense. So we went back to the hospital, and then I sat for like 5 minutes, and then they were like, okay, let's go, because you know at this point I'm in a lot of pain, I'm in tears at this point. So I was like, okay, no problem. So we went up to the ward, and we went to labor and deliveries because I remember, I don't know, that's the first place you have to go, so they need to check you to see how dilated you are, if you are your face and all those kind of things, right? So when I went up to labor and delivery, the lady came, she took my temperature, normal procedure. You have to pass urine in a cup. They tested with the strip, and then I had to wait a little bit. And you know, that wait was like the longest wait ever, because like I said, other people sitting there, and I'm the only person crying on the place, and everybody watching me like, "Whoa, what's going on with this game?" Everybody watching me like, "Whoa, what really going on with this game?" But y'all, the pain was so bad. So I cried on the place. Y'all, a nurse would come and ask me, "You in pain?" Like, you see me in tears, obviously I'm in pain. So she was like, "Okay, come let me check you." So we went inside, and then they still didn't check me yet because they have to ask me a set of questions like how long was my contractions. So I was tracking my contractions on my phone with the baby app that I have, and they were asking me how long was I getting contractions. They asked me how far apart are they. At that point they were like maybe like half an hour apart, maybe, I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't close, it wasn't that close together. But because I was in labor, I was actually in labor at that point, they kept me because it was 2 babies. That's the reason why they didn't send me back home, right? So they was like, okay, so she was like, okay, I'm gonna check you to see how dilated you are. You will, I now see why people they say when you're having a child, all your shame just go through the door, because so much hands are checking you. So it's like, I wasn't prepared for this at all. Like, y'all, is a lot of, y'all, like, I even count on my 2 hands how much people had to check me, like, when I was in hospital. And it's just these, like, every time you see somebody, he's on your person. She was like, okay, well, you're about 2 centimeters dilated. I was like, okay, that's like only 2 centimeters. I was like, you sure? Because this pain could never be 2 centimeters dilated pain. She was like, yeah, you're only 2 centimeters dilated. So then she was like, okay, well, the next nurse will have to check it to make sure. You all, it's like I could have dropped down. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't take it. And it's just the beginning. The next nurse came and she checked me, and she was like, oh gosh, darling, don't cry now. And then she was talking to me like during the procedure, and that kind of made it easier because I was more focused on talking to her than studying the pain. So it didn't hurt as bad. And then she was more gentle than the other person. She was like, okay, well, you're 2 centimeters dilated. You would have to go down to the maternity ward until I get closer to 10 centimeters, right? When I reached the maternity ward now, I had to get checked again by 2 people again. So I like, oh my gosh, why can't you all just assign 1 person to me and let them give you all the information? But no, it just had to be everybody and up in your vagina liner. So I like, y'all, but honestly, like at the point in time, it's like you just want to get this over it, so you really don't even care, right? So they checked me and they was like, okay, well, you're about 2 centimeters dilated, and they were asking me if I had any, sorry for the TMI, okay, I'm sorry. They were asking me if I had any bloody show, if my mucus plug came out or anything like that, and nothing like that happened during the time that I was home to my drive there to when I was there. Nothing like that happened, right? So they was like, okay, they're gonna assign me to a bed and they're gonna set me up on the NST machines, right? Y'all, before I continue, when I remember I say I had to go in the hospital like a few days before because I thought I was a neighbor, right? So when you go there, you have to, once they admit you, they have to inject a needle into your hand to give you drips, or if they need to take blood or whatever the case is, right? When I went there, they had no small ones, so they had to inject me with a pig needle, and I don't like needles at all. So I was dealing with a senior doctor. I could tell she was senior to the person that she called, right? So she called this person and she was like, okay, it's of a patient here, you need to come and put the needle in her. And then we were assigned her to the bed. Yo, this man came, and every time I went to the hospital, they would put the needle here, right? And yo, I have a lot of marks from, like, on my both hands. I have marks here, I have marks here. They inject me here at one point. They inject me here, like somewhere here, like the mark here. They inject me here at one point. They put the needle here at one point. Yo, I was just traumatized after that. So he came and he was like, okay, I'm gonna put the needle here because you have a real nice vein here. I was like, I don't want the needle there because it looks like it's gonna be uncomfortable, and the needle done so big already. I don't want to be in discomfort because I'm already in pain. He was like, I understand, no, but I just think we should put it here. But y'all, I never see anybody with the needle there. So y'all, this man took me like 3 times and never get the vein. Mind you, he say was a juicy vein, eh? So I was like, listen to me, you need to go and call our next doctor because you're not sticking around another time. Y'all, I didn't mean to be rude or anything, but I was like, what the heck, you can't be checking on people and then expect me to sit on here for a 4th time. Like, no, you need to get the next doctor. So he went and he called the next doctor, and he was upset. You could tell he was upset. So he called the next doctor, and the next doctor, he was like, okay, watch me do it now. She was like, no, I will take over and I will do it. So she injects me and she actually put it where I wanted it, right? Guess who I would get again to stick me with the needle again? This same man who I followed with 2 days ago. So I'm like, Lord Father, I'm feeling bad because I know he remember me and I damn well remember him, right? So y'all, when I come, he was like, he want to stick me in the same place. We had the same arguments again, but the fact that I was in so much pain, I was like, you know what, whatever, I will ask somebody to remove it after and put it somewhere else, right? So he actually put the needle. It was a vein. I don't want to lie, y'all, I'm looking for the mark. It was actually here. He put the needle here, and y'all, it was big and it was uncomfortable, and we will get to how that needle upset me even more as we get into the story. So they assigned me to my bed, and from the time they assigned me to my bed, they told me I was not allowed to eat anything. I could have only drink water. They hooked me up to the NST machine. So that's the machine where they put the bands on you and they monitor the baby's heartbeat, and they also monitor your contractions to see how strong. I think you could tell you how strong they are, and they could tell you how far apart they are, right? So the nurse came and she was like, she gonna hook me up to the NST machine. But I told her it was 2 babies, but I don't think she heard me. She brought 1 band and she put it on me, so I was like, okay, she may be gonna do 1 baby and then she gonna do the next one. So then after I sit down on that thing, after I lie down on that bed for maybe a good few hours, she came back and she was like, we have to do it over because you didn't tell me it was twins. So y'all, I was just, at this point, I real irritated. I had to stay on that uncomfortable machine for the entire night, and all this time, y'all, I bawling down the place, crying down the place there. I wasn't bawling, but I was crying, like crying real so, because I didn't want nobody to see me cry. But y'all, we living in Trinidad. How the hospital is, it have beds opposite each other, right? So people across from you could see you, and y'all, everybody on the next side, right? So people across from the next row could see you. So you're everybody on the next side watching me, and I guess as soon as you look at them, like they turn away like they ain't watching you. So I cried on the place, and I had to be on that machine the whole night, and honestly it was really uncomfortable because when you are on the NST machine, you can't move too much. You can't sit up. Sometimes you had to hold the machine or they had to prop it up, and the machines don't even work efficiently. So that was just therapy. That was the worst, honestly. So I had to be on a machine from maybe about 11 o'clock the night till like 4 o'clock the next morning, and that is when the lady was like, okay, I will give you a little break now so you could get a little rest. I was like, okay, no problem. So during that time they also checked me again to see how dilated I was, and I was still 2 centimeters dilated, right? So now we're going into Sunday here. Same procedure. They had to put me on the NST. I was on an NST machine whole day again, and it wasn't working properly, and the thing have you paranoid because 1 minute you're seeing the baby heartbeat dropping low, then next minute you ain't seeing no heartbeat at all. I was like, they need to fix these things because this is not it. Sunday wasn't really anything interesting, to be honest. Sunday wasn't interesting. There nothing much happened. I was just in pain, a lot of pain, crying whole time. So fast forward to Tuesday now, because nothing really happened Sunday and nothing really happened Monday. All this time I still haven't progressed. I was still at 2 centimeters. I was still in a lot of pain. They were just kind of monitoring my contractions. So I was in labor. I was over it. I was like, why is this thing taking so long? Like, you know, you're always seeing stories about people who in the hospital 1 hour push the child come out. I was like, why I couldn't be like one of these people? This is when things actually started to happen. So on Tuesday, my team, the doctors that I was assigned to in clinic were not there. They were not on duty that day, right? So the other team had to deliver my baby. So around 8 o'clock Tuesday morning, a doctor came and she checked me. When she checked me, she said I was still 2 centimeters dilated. So she said she have to do something called a membrane sweep, right? Y'all, that thing is the worst. So a membrane sweep is where they would have to take their fingers and actually try to open up the area. And y'all, y'all, I started to scream to the top of my lungs, like I started to cry, like y'all, like why y'all didn't tell me these things? Like why y'all didn't tell me beforehand? And it would be so bad, you know what I mean? So she do the memory sweep and she was like, this is to help you speed up the process. So I was like, okay, no problem. Y'all are crying on the place, they were trying to calm me down, and then I was so glad and it was finally over. So from the time she do the membrane sweep, like not long after, like the pain got worse, like the contractions got worse, and they were actually getting closer and closer together. So they immediately transferred me onto the labor and delivery ward because they say I was about to have the baby today, right? So we go on now, and y'all, honestly, like during that whole time I was just feeling like my body just feeling to do what it was meant to do, because it's like I was in so labor so long, I was just over it, I was so exhausted, and it's like nothing is happening, nothing is progressing, and it's moving so slow, and I was just so frustrated at that point, right? So we went to labor and delivery, and on my way to labor and delivery I had a nurse walk with me, right? So if you ever had a baby, or if you are going to have a baby, y'all, I'm sorry for the TMI, okay? I do apologize. So you have this thing called enema that you need to take. So you need to take enema in order to poop, to let everything out, so you don't have any accidents when you are going to have to push the baby out, right? So y'all, I know what enema was. I remember doing research. I mean, a lot of people tell me stories about the procedures and whatnot. So the nurse was like, so you know what this is? I was like, no, what is that? Y'all, I had to pray for forgiveness after I leave the hospital, because I was just doing the most. So she was like, you know, what is this? I was like, no, girl, what is that? Like, just started talking to the lady, like me and the lady's friends. So she was like, come on now, oh God, try to figure it out. I was like, no, what's it for? So I was like, I really need to do that? She was like, you sure you don't understand what to do? But I know what to do, I just don't want to take any enema. So she was like, you sure you know what to do? I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't think I needed to know, because I'm feeling like I need to poop right now. So she was like, the woman started to panic. I say, Lord Jesus, please forgive me, for I am sinning at this very moment. So the woman starts to panic, y'all, and trying to walk fast, and I don't can't walk fast because I in so much of pain, and she trying to hurry down the hallway because she feeling like the baby about to come down, right? So you mind you, I ain't feeling to poop one bit, right? I was so glad I said that, because I didn't get to take any enema. Thank you, Jesus. So we going down to the labor and delivery, and she was like, you like she panicking, and she was like, you put up on the bed, connected to the machines. She said she feeling like she ready to poop. So they asked me if I wanted to use the washroom, and I was like, yeah, but they didn't allow me to use the washroom. They put me on the bed, and you know, I get to all of the how I had to urinate and all those things, right? So they put me up on the bed and everything, and they immediately hooked me up to the NST machine, and I had like about 4 midwives. I had about 4 midwives, and my midwives were the sweetest people ever. They were so funny and they were so kind. Like y'all remember I told you I was crying on the place, so I cried on the place. And as soon as I meet the midwife, you know, she starts to rub my back, she rubbed my foot, she keep bringing me ice chips, because when you are in labor, you are not allowed to eat anything, right? You're only allowed to eat ice chips. You're not even allowed to drink water. And when you are in labor, you are you just get really dehydrated, right? So I keep begging for ice chips. I was like, oh my goodness. and you know, and she was tasting real bad. Like that tap water wasn't good tap water. So the ice chips tasting terrible. Now we are probably is like now maybe like maybe 1 o'clock in the day, and y'all I crying on the place. They allowed me to get up and walk because y'all I mean I trying to do things just to not think about this pain, because at this point I just crying like uncontrollably. I couldn't stop crying, y'all. I just started to feel like my body was saying like I can't, like my body was like acting like it couldn't just take any more of the pain because it was really bad. Like I started to get so tired, like I started to like I trying so hard to breathe, and y'all it was just a crisis up in there. So because of COVID, they were not allowing people to come in, but as I said, my midwives were really sweet. They allowed my husband to come in, they allowed my mother to come in, and they were there. They stayed with me for a good while. They tried to calm me down. Y'all, as soon as they told me, I was like, "Gail, I don't think I could put you through this another time now," because y'all, like he was like, afterwards he was like, "Gail, I like the way you was looking. I thought you was gonna die or something." Like no joke, like to tell you how I was feeling. I probably was looking the same way, because I tell you my body was feeling like I couldn't take the pain anymore. To this point, my water bag haven't burst, my mucus plug didn't come out, nothing like that. So they kept checking me. They say I was at 4 centimeters. Then like so around 2 o'clock, the girl came and she said, "Okay, I'm 7 centimeters." So they actually were now trying to organize things because they thought I was going to deliver the baby. When the senior doctor came now, y'all, I was not at 7 centimeters. I was only at 3 centimeters. So I was like, this could never be. I was like, no, this could never be. I started crying. I started telling my midwife, I was like, "Yeah, you need to call the doctor. I can't do this no more. I can't lie down here. I can't take the pain. I can't do it." Like I really I trying, but I can't do it. Like, and I'm crying. Telling her, they said, I was like, I really can't do it no more. She was like, "No, you could do it." And I tried to breathe. So she here rubbing my back. Your first woman feels sorry for me. She bring water for me to drink, and I'm not supposed to be drinking water. You have to tell you how bad I was crying. Here she started crying loud. Here, Hannah, Miss Morris, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. I was like, "Girl, this pain is so bad." She was like, "Yeah, but just breathe. And I like, "Y'all think this breathing helping?" I was like, "This breathing ain't even helping me one bit." So she was like, she was like, "Still, just try to breathe, or whatever the case is." So she allowed me to walk and sing. Yo, so it's weird, like it's so weird, right? There's one time, like the woman was asking me if I needed to pee, and I like, "No, I don't need to pee. I don't feel like I need to pee," because they won't allow me to get up and go to the bathroom, right? Even though it was like 2 steps away. She was like, "You need to pee." I was like, "No, I don't need to pee." Yo, I don't know what she did, but she take this kind of pointy thing and she like stick my bladder, and I didn't even feel the pee or anything. I just started to hear it. Like I was like, that is so weird. Like I'm watching a million YouTube videos and I never see that in 1 year, right? So now it's like about 3 o'clock, and that's when the senior doctor checked me, and he told me that I'm only at 4 centimeters. So he told them to monitor me for the next hour and see how I progress, and if I didn't dilate dilate at all at that point, to call him back, and we would have to look at other options, meaning a cesarean section. And y'all, at that point I was so over it, because I was like, there's the same thing I didn't want to happen. I didn't want to have to go through all this pain, then still have an emergency C-section, right? And then I made up my mind, like it was hard for me to come to terms to have a vaginal birth in the first place, because I didn't want to. And then now I still had to go and get this major surgery and be in a whole lot of pain afterwards too, right? So during that time they also burst my water bag, and even though they burst my water bag, the contractions just got worse, and it never, like, nothing never happened. I wasn't dilating, the baby wasn't coming, like, the baby does eventually like go down into your birth canal to show signs that the baby ready to come out. Nothing was happening at all. And then one of the baby's heartbeats started to drop. So the doctor came back and he was like, "Okay, it have one more thing we could try," but he was like, "I really don't want to try because it's 2 babies," and he was like, "I don't want to put your babies at risk, and I don't want to put you at risk." And at this point, like, my body was giving up on all this pain, like I couldn't take it. So he was like, "We gonna look at another option, and that would be an emergency C-section." Y'all, and I was just devastated. But even though I didn't want to have a vaginal birth, I'm still glad that I got to experience labor. I'm glad that I got to experience contractions, even though it was the worst thing ever. You know, I'm still glad that I got to experience that, right? So he was like, okay, so we're gonna have to do an emergency C-section. So then they came and they had to give me more drips, because in between they had to keep changing my drips because it was running out. So they kept changing my drips, and then they had to give me extra of the extra ones in the needles, right? So they had to remove the one that the man put in, because remember tell you he put it in the place that I didn't want it. Yo, my hand there was blue black, like it was blue black, and it was swollen and it was hurting so bad. Like every time they would put like the change the drips, like it would like burn like uncontrollably, like not normal, like how it would normally be. So they realized like it wasn't placed correctly, because I didn't want it anyway, so they ended up changing it. And then he was like, okay, so somebody is coming to talk to you, and they are going to tell you about all the risk, all the complications, and you're gonna have to sign a form. And y'all, I was scared. I said, even though, you know, all the time I seen I want to have a C-section, and now it's like I don't want to have a C-section at this point, right? So Nathan and my mom was there, and y'all, I just started to cry for more, because I don't cry, and I just started to cry for more. And they were like, you know what, don't cry. And then I was like, Nathan was saying, you know, regardless, once we have healthy babies, that's all that really matters, right? So the person came and he spoke to me. He was like, you could have hemorrhage, and after, he was like, some of your organs could potentially get damaged in the process of them doing the C-section. He was like, you would have a lot of complications for future. You could have complications for future pregnancies. You could die. Your babies could have issues. And I was like, at that point, I was like, Lord, I didn't even know, like I was just like, I was there, but it's like I wasn't there, right? So I was like, okay, no problem. And then they made me sign off. I had to sign a form stating that they came and they explained all that to me. And then my midwives had to remove my clothing. They had to put me into the gown. They had to insert a catheter so that I could pass urine into that, because up until the next day I would have that inserted. And that was about to, they came and they put me onto the bed and they trolleyed me down into the theater. That is what it is called, the room, right? The theater. So when they carried me down to the theater, they would check my vitals before the C-section, and the anesthesiologist came and spoke to me, and she, no, like I had the sweetest, I feel like I had the sweetest people ever. She was really, really nice. She came and she told me what I have to do. So I'll insert a picture of what you have to do when they're giving you a spinal block, right? With my big belly, she told me I have to like hold my hands like this together, and I have to literally crouch over as much as possible, and that was really uncomfortable. When we got into the room now, she was just talking to me, asking me basic questions, asking me what's my name, what's my baby's names, asking me how far along am I, if I know the genders, you know, she's like just trying to make me comfortable, because at this point I'm scared and tears, and I just want this pain to be done. One thing she made sure and said when she was telling me what to do, she was like, do not move, because if you move you could end up paralyzed if you get choked in the wrong area. And y'all, guess what I do? Because it's like I wasn't expecting this, you know what I mean? The room is freezing cold, her hand is cold as hell, and I just wasn't expecting the needle. So when she stick me the first time, I actually jumped, like, and it was no little jump. I jumped, and everybody in the room started to panic. So it was like, no. So I don't know, my anxiety started to act up. So she was like, no, don't move, and then somebody had to come and hold me and crouch move, and then like I kind of just zoned myself out, and she stick me with the needle. So when she sticked me, they told me to lie down, and they started, like a little while after, they started to pinch me with this very sharp object to see if I was still getting feeling. And y'all, I was feeling everything. It wasn't no tugging. I was literally feeling them sticking me, and I started to be like, no, don't get moving. And I started to panic. I was like, no, because I actually saw stories and people say how the anesthesia didn't work, and they got cut open and they were feeling it, like the pain, and then I wasn't able, so I started to panic. I was like, no, look at me. So they do it like a couple times and it still wasn't working. And then eventually my left side was numb, but my right side wasn't numb. And she called another anesthesiologist, and she was asking him if she should give me the gas to knock me out. And I was like, I really don't want to be knocked out. They have anything else we could do? And they actually turned the bed. So the bed that they had, the table they had me on, the surgery table, apparently could move, right? So they turned me sideways and my body is literally sideways like this, and they do that so the medication could go to the next half of my body. And after a while they actually turned me over because they kind of were running out of time, and by the emergency C-section one of my baby's heartbeats was dropping, fluctuating, so they against time right now. So they said if that didn't work, then they would have to give me gas. Thank God it worked. So they started pinching me again, and then I felt it, and then they eventually cut me a little while after, and I didn't even know. And I was like, yo, start, yeah, we start a good while now. I was like, okay. So I had to lie down on the bed, and my two arms have to be like open straight out, like. And I didn't even realize, I was so out of it and probably so high on them little drugs that they gave me, that I didn't even realize, like they strapped my hands down to the bed. Like I didn't even realize that until like later on in the surgery, and I wanted to scratch my face or something. So the anesthesiologist was talking to me all the way through. They put oxygen on me. She was talking to me. Nazi, what happened? I was feeling the tugging, but I wasn't feeling any pain. So like I would feel like if they cut me and they like pulling and stretching my skin or muscle or whatever, I was feeling like all the tugging and everything, but no pain. So she asked me if I feel anything. I was like, no, just tugging. And all I heard was 419 baby A. And I was just so happy at that point. I think I started to cry, all kind of thing. I was just so happy because I was officially a mom at that point. So I was so excited to see what my babies look like. Obviously, I wanted to see how they look, and I was just happy that they were here, And they were here. Well, one of them, the first baby was Azara, so she was baby A, and Azara was baby B. So she came out first, but I didn't see her first because they cleaned her up. But afterwards, all I heard was 420 baby B, and they said the genders of the babies, but they brought Nazi for me to see. So Nazi cried when he came out, but they didn't bring us her, so I didn't see her yet, and I didn't hear her cry. And I started to like panic, and I was like, why is she not crying, like I just kept asking, like, is she okay, like why is she not crying? And I was like, yeah, everything. And her up and then she started to make like baby noises, and then she started to cry. And then they brought her, and I got to hold her, and I got to love up my little munchkins. And they took them, and from that I didn't get to see them until a good while after. So after the surgery, they told me, congratulations. They probably said some other things, but as I said, I really was so outside. I probably don't remember what it was telling me. But they came, they cleaned me down because obviously I would have had blood all over me and everything. And they put on a new gown on me. They put on a new head disposable cap on me, and they took me out of the surgery table, and they put me onto a trolley, and then they carried me into the recovery room. They were checking my vitals, they changed my drips, they gave me pain medication. I know that was the two things that I remember that they gave me. And then the girl, I told you, like I was shivering uncontrollably from the time they finished. I just started to shiver, obviously because I lose so much blood and whatnot, right? So I just started to shiver like crazy, like uncontrollably. And I was telling the girl, I said, I'm feeling like real cold. And she seen me shivering, and I just couldn't stop. So they took me to the recovery room for like an hour, and then they put this kind of sack thing on me, and she zipped it all the way up, and like it had a heat something in it, so it was heating up my body. I came out of there like around after 6 minutes to 7 maybe, and I was shivering like crazy. Something they actually told me is that normally when you have twins, they would usually put oxygen on the baby, and it was like my babies didn't even need oxygen, so I was really happy for that. They didn't need any NICU time or anything like that. So they carried me back to the maternity ward, and then now it's like about after 7 when I kind of settled in, they transferred me back onto my another bed. and then I got another nurse, and I actually knew one of the nurses that were there. So while the other nurse was dealing with me, she was actually with the babies and she was feeding them, because I still didn't get to see them up to this point, and it was like after 7 in the night. So from 4:19 until 20, that was it, and I didn't see them after, right? Nurse came and she changed me, she changed my clothes, she put on everything that I needed to have on at that point in time, and then she realized that I wasn't bleeding, right? So y'all, this lady started to squeeze down on my stomach, and y'all, mind you, the medication didn't even work for it, because I couldn't raise my feet, I couldn't even move my toe, not even my pinky toe I could move, and she started to press down on my stomach, and y'all, like, that just hurt so bad, so bad, so bad. And she was like, you know what this lady would tell me? She was like, you have a real poor pain threshold. I was like, oh, you could be telling, so no, you could be telling the patient these kind of things. They didn't bring the babies for me until probably like 9 or 10 in the night, because at that point I was very exhausted, y'all. I was so tired, like I was just out of it. I just wanted to sleep so bad, but I couldn't sleep. And that's when the pain medication actually started to wear off, and y'all, when I tell you that pain, like if I think like I had to deal with labor pain and contractions, and then I didn't know, I didn't know what I was signing up for. Like the pain was so bad, and the medication didn't even wear off. It was horrible. Like I can't even, y'all, on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain was 100. I'm not even kidding. Like the pain was real bad. It was so hard for me to even raise off the bed, for me to sit to use the washroom. It was really hard. Like I couldn't even like go to the washroom alone, because it was so painful for me. I would take so long to sit, and I'm afraid I'd just drop, and you know, like a hurt my incision or whatnot. So after that, the nurse came and she gave me some pain medication that never worked, and she told me to rest for a little bit. So I didn't even rest. I was just asking her, you know, where the babies, if they bringing them anytime soon or whatnot. So they eventually brought the babies, but I still wasn't able to move, so I couldn't even breastfeed. So they had to take them up and try to put them on me to latch, and you know, that and all was so painful. Like just one baby alone was hurting so bad, and the nurse asked me if I want to breastfeed the two at the same time. I can barely make for this little one, so much less for the two of them. So when she tried to do that, she was like, I really need to breastfeed. And I was like, this is around like 10 o'clock. She was like, I really need to try to breastfeed or whatnot. So I was like, okay, no problem. So she like stayed there and she kind of helped me hold the baby, because it was real hitting. It was real hitting. Like I was in tears, like I was crying, because it was so painful. So she was trying to help me hold the babies or whatnot. So after that, now y'all, it was just another catastrophe with this needle in my hand. So one of the needles, like I don't know if they weren't placing it correctly in my hand or whatnot, but I remember she was giving me trips, and y'all, I didn't even, like I was so outside, I didn't even realize like my hand was like this big, like swollen like this big. I'm not even joking. Like, you know, when they blow up a glove, this look, y'all, my hand was fat. So the nurse asked me, she was like, you didn't see your hand swollen? I was like, no, like I saw outside, I didn't even see. So no, it was like around 12 o'clock, and my hand is still swollen, and she's trying to see what she could do to help me with the swelling to make it go down. And that's when she told me that I have to walk. I can't lie down for the whole night, because it will be really difficult if I have to get up tomorrow. Yeah, just thinking about it, I just remembered all the pain that I was in, you know, but I survived. Hooray. So she told me that I needed to walk, so she walked me to the bathroom. Even though I still had the catheter in me all this time, they didn't take it out, because they were waiting until the medication fully off. So I still had this up until the next day. I still had the catheter in me, but she just wanted me to walk to the washroom to see how I walk in, to see how I'm feeling. And y'all, that was the hardest walk of my life. It was the worst. Like every step, every lift, every move, everything every time you move it would just hurt so bad. Like I take so long to go to the washroom and to come back to my bed, and then even other than that I still had to get up in the night and breastfeed. Like it was really hard. Like a C-section is not a joke. Like that I had a C-section, I don't even think I could ever go through something like that again, like because it was really painful. So during the night my nurse came and she gave me an injection in my legs, and that was for blood clots. She also gave me more pain medication. What else she gave me? And she changed my drips like normal procedure, and that was basically it. The next day the anesthesiologist came. She asked me how I was feeling. She asked me a whole set of questions, if I get in headaches, if it's hurting when I eaten. So I couldn't eat after the surgery until like a few hours after they allowed me to eat, and even when they allowed me to eat, like I didn't even have an appetite. So I probably ate like the next day. I still had the catheter. I had to walk around the hospital with this bag of urine on me during the day, during visiting hours, so everybody just see me with this big bag of pee walking around the place. And they took it out like a little while. Oh, I just saw that mosquito flying from the camera. They took it out a little while before I left, and they allowed me to go home after 24 hours because everything was fine with the babies, everything was fine with me. The only thing was like Nazaya had a little cold, like when he was there, like he was like doing this kind of wheezing thing, but other than that they were fine. I was fine. Pediatrician said it was normal, so they allowed us to go home, and then they told me I could leave. So y'all, when I wanted to leave, they asked me if I wanted a wheelchair. No, I didn't want a wheelchair because to sit in the wheelchair is one thing, then to get up from the wheelchair is another thing. And you know, they say like when you have a C-section you need to walk as much as possible, so I took it upon myself to walk, and it's best I did take that wheelchair because it was terrible. I walked to the wheelchair, and then you only drive from the hospital to my house. Nathan literally had to be driving. He had to put on the hazard lights and drive real slow. So right guys, that was basically how my labor and delivery was. I don't mean to scare you guys. I hope you guys actually have I hope your birth plan goes as expected and it doesn't go on haywire like mine did. I don't mean to scare you. I mean, everybody pain tolerance is different, so who knows, maybe if you have a C-section it wouldn't be as bad as mine. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned for my next video because that's where I'll actually be getting more in depth on the injections I had to take, the medication, how I survived after having a C-section while having to care for twins, and basically life after having a baby. So please stay tuned for my next video guys. If you stay till the end, thank you for watching. Please drop any comments if you're a mom. Comment down below. Let me know how was your birthing experience and how you enjoyed it, and if you had a different birth, like type of birth, because I know some people have home birth, some people have water birth and all these types of things. Well, with COVID now that kind of restricted, but if you had a birth like that, please comment down below, let me know how it was, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So bye guys, and thanks for watching.